Hello, how are you doing? Okay, so I seen in the message you told me you tried to do a crop top with his hairstyle. Okay, let's see. Okay, starting on this picture, I suppose. We'll go with, where's the first one? This one. Okay, gonna start with this picture. What do I want to point out to start off with? Okay, now the fade's all done okay, all fine. Few areas that I would want you to focus on is going to be this area here. There's a few tips in his head I want you to work through with thinning scissors, or else in a point cutting technique where you're putting the scissors in, straight cutting in. You're going to be coming in 90-degree angle parallel to the hair growth. You're going to be cutting it off. Okay? It's going to get rid of these shadows. It's going to make it look way nicer. Definitely take a look at that. Make sure you do that for next time. Start working on it. It's not easy to get rid of all these shadows. Keep taking a look in the mirror. It's going to benefit you in the long run. Okay. Now, lineups. You can see you've done a line up here on the sides. You've done it all along. But here, for some reason, it goes like this. Now, I don't know. Maybe this is the style. But the way that I would have done it would have actually been like this. So now you can see where it was, and it's just this area here that you should have cut off. Not a big mistake, but definitely does make a difference to the image overall. Just make our lineups like you see. That's all really. Okay, now when you are taking the weight off, you should have done, so you should have brought your clippers straight up, working with your hand rather than a flicking motion. You should have went straight up his head. All done. Straight up. Now can you see? If that's straight up, there should be hairs here. They should all be matching into this line. This gap, that should be covered in as well with hairs. So, where'd you go wrong? You went wrong when you were taking the weight off, or else when you were using the blending comb, maybe you went in too deep here. But you can see what I mean, is it comes in and there's a dip like that. Now, we don't want dips in the head, we don't want the grooves to be visible, we want it straight up, 90 degrees from any sort of a way that you're looking at the haircut. It has to look square. Now, I understand there's dip in his head, still work with that. Okay, another thing I want to point out now is going to be the taper fade. You blended the sides down, well done. Literally what I explained in the last video, well done. Start tapering down the edges, it makes it look nicer. It does. It gives more of a blend, it matches everything in. Look, this is all shaved off here. Well, not shaved off, he just doesn't have a beard. But it gives a nice blend into the haircut. From the zero on the, I suppose, cheeks into the hair. It's a way nicer blend than just a straight line across. But what I could recommend is to bring it up small bit higher. Now, ideally, you should have done the zero probably along here. Not even, hold on. Zero could have went from the line up and down like so. And then the rest of your blend could have finished on the way up here. So presuming you done probably a 1.5 on the sides there, I can't really tell. You should have done your fade from up into the 1, up to about this line here. Should have done the fade all the ways up to there. It would have given more of a blend. It would have made it look small bit nicer. All in all, it's good. At least you're tapering them down. I'm very happy with that. Okay, we'll move on to the nape area now. See what we have. Where's the nape area? Here we go. Okay, so just on the topic of the taper, this one coming on to the nape area as I spotted something, but you can see it here. Okay, line up very sharp. 10 out of 10. Well done. That's a very straight line. Well done. From what I can see, it looks very nice. Could just be from where you're taking the picture as well. I'm joking. It looks very nice, that line up, I must say. Very straight line, square across. But another pointer which I could have done. No, you can leave the taper down this low. You can finish off your fade here. You can, by all means. But I personally think if I was doing this haircut, I would have brought the zero up to here. And I would probably finished off my fade up around here. Now this would have given more of a blend. It would have looked nicer. Just from my point of view, I think it would have looked way nicer. Now you can do this the next time you're cutting this hair. At least you blended the line out. It already looks cleaner, already looks nicer, but I'd say feeling if you went up to about here with the fade, it would have given it that bit more of a look. Definitely. Just take a look at the haircut. Imagine the end result before you even start the haircut. Some of the most important things that I can say is picture your end result before the haircut's even started. That way you have an image for the rest of your haircut of what you're expecting to do, where you're going to go, and you're going to plan your haircut out before it's even started. Best tip ever. Sorry. Okay, next thing that I want to point out. Okay, you left the weight zone, but as I said at the start there, this area here, there's a dip in his head. It's very noticeable. Now, ideally, you should have probably brought your weights on a small bit lower, or you should have done a low fade on him, meaning they would have come around like so. Hold on there. Let me get this right now. Okay, so weights on, comes along here, and around like so. Alright, I just can't get that straight, but okay, we'll forget about the sides. It's coming down here like so, and it curves in like that. And what this would have done is it would have left way more weight down here. It would have covered all this area in. Even if you just brought your number 1 up to here rather than bringing it up to here, the 1.5, whichever you used, that would have already covered in this gap for when you went fading. Would have covered it in. All you'd have to do is work small bit with the thinning scissors, point cutting, whichever. But it would have kept that heavier, and it would have it wouldn't have shown the shadow as severely as you can see in this. Okay, next thing that I want to point out is the crown. So the crown's cut, but what I can see is up from the side now, and I'm going to show you the left side of his haircut. The weight zone should be here, but it's brought up to here. Now, this is already going with this head shape. It's curving into his head. And what this leaves us with is when we're bringing our weights on down here on the nape area instead of here, what it does is it leaves a jump like this. No, it's like a square box and then it just curves. It's not nice. So if you went along here, done your weights on like you did, forget about what I said along here. That's for next time's haircut, but just along the lines of what you've done this time, if you brought your weights on here instead of up here, and you would have matched it all in. All these hairs, the longest hair, taking it from here, pull it straight out. It should be the length to drop down to here. You pull it all the way down, pull it down to here, and it should be that length. That's how it matches into the weight zone. And there's none of this kind of stuff here. Like, let's say, these hairs here, they're just floating around, they're just lying on the way down, all different lengths, and looks like palm tree. You'll get me? They're not falling into the weight zone. And that's what I'm trying to get at now. I'm going to show you the left side, and you're going to understand this small bit more. If we get onto the left side of his haircut, this side. Okay. So at this side now, what I was trying to say is up along here, instead of going up here with your weights on, you should have went down the way down here from the apex of recession and brought it down just that small bit lower. And as you can see, even from where I curved it down, it's already almost filling this gap in. Just drop down a small bit more and that's going to fill in this gap. We're going to have a straight line going through the back. The next time it's going to be square. So, as I was saying, if the line up, or if the weight zone was cut off along here like so, 2 seconds, cut off from the apex of recession all the way as on along, apex of recession once again, if we lift his fringe up, there's going to be a corner in here, and it's this corner which is the apex of recession. Okay, so we draw our weight zone, just deleted it, okay? Okay. Oh, 2 seconds. Okay. Weight zone. 2 seconds. This does not want to do it for me anymore. Okay, there we have it. Weight zone. What this allows us to do is all of these hairs are going to be falling on the way into it, and it's all going to be square. And as you can even see back here, take a look here, just take attention, comes down, nothing's working, hold on. Okay, comes down, and then there's a small dip inside there. Now that dip would have all been fixed if these hairs up at the top, if they all reached down as far as here. If they all reached down and it was all even weight and it gave a perfect semicircle around the back, it would have all fallen down evenly, all the weights on would have been nice. Okay, while I'm on the side, I also want to point out the top zone. If you're doing crop top, there's way too much weight up here. Like, if we're talking no head shape, his head shape with no hair, it would be like so. It would be like that. And okay, you cut the top zone the same way as his weight zone, which is also like that. But don't forget, when cutting the top zone for men, you have to imagine that you're drawing a square box on the top of his head. Square box, rectangle even. Now look what this allows us to do. Okay, take blue for instance, and what happens is the hairs are longer here, and they're coming in shorter and longer again towards the crown. What this allows us is more on the fringe. If he wants to flick it up, have a queef, comb it over. He has all the length that he needs on the fringe. He doesn't have weight here, meaning that it's easier to style, easier to comb it back. And in the crown, it's heavier, meaning that everything falls down evenly. Remember that square box, keeping everything square, especially with the top zone, the sides, everything. Like, square box. The easiest way of putting it, just a square box for any haircut. Now, with the crop top as well, what you should have done is you should have point cut it into the hairs. And draw it on the way down here on the side for you, what I mean. Okay, so you have all your hairs here, let's say. They're all sticking up. It's enough hairs. I think he has 6 hairs on the head. Okay, let's say that's his head. Let's just draw it out. Okay, so you have all the hairs combed on the way up. Take the red. And the red is going to be scissors, okay? So I'm going to show you. You're going to come in 15 degrees. Let's say your fingers are holding his hairs up here. Red is fingers and yellow is going to be scissors. So you have your fingers holding up horizontally, square along. All the hairs are up 90 degrees from the head, and what you're going to do now is point cut in with your scissors. Now, the horizontal line stays straight, and you're coming in at about 10-15 degrees of an angle. Now what this allows us to do is, you'll notice now, you can see the yellow lines, take it from here. So what this allows us to do is going to be accelerator. These are the hairs here. What this allows us is the top hairs are all one length at the top and all one length at the bottom. So now you have 2 different lengths going through his head, but it gives us more of a textured look, more uneven, more textured, and that's what allows us to have that very, very textured, choppy look when doing a crop top. Okay, so that's it for this side. Let's see the other side again. You showed me a few more pictures. Oh yes, with the fringe. So with the fringe, what you do as well, you're going to take your weights on. Let's go back to red. Weights on. From the apex of recession, draw your weights on in, symmetrical to the head shape. And then once you come to the weights on here, apex of recession, you're going to draw a straight line down from here. Okay, weights on. And you're going to follow on the line all along here. And you're going to match it into the longest point of hair on his fringe, which is going to be down the middle of his fringe. What that's going to do is when his hair goes blowing to the side or to the other side, excuse me, it's going to all fall evenly, regardless of any side that he's on. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you learned something. and we'll be seeing you in the next lesson.